absurd. Greatness, greatness. Living Proverbs, living Proverbs, living Proverbs. Greatness, greatness. Living Proverbs, living Proverbs, living Proverbs. The world is absurd. The kingdom is superb. Greatness, greatness. Living Proverbs, living Proverbs, living Proverbs, living Proverbs.
Trust issues. Let's read the second scripture that we have today. Want to read that?
Yeah. Proverbs 20:28. You want to start from 28?
Yep.
Okay.
20. What? Proverbs 28, 25.
Yeah. Okay. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 25. It says, "The greedy stir up conflict, but those who trust in the Lord will prosper."
You were just mentioning about I think you said something about gossip.
Yeah.
Because what gossip does, and that's all it does, is stir up conflict.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah.
That's the reason for
Causing
gossip.
strife.
That's the reason for it. There's no other reason for it. If I'm going around just saying, things to tear things down and not build up. I'm God, especially when it comes to others, other people. Now we talking about the kingdom of darkness. Yeah, you tear that down.
Yeah.
But we're talking about other people. Even if they're out of God's will, out of God's way, our goal should always be to draw them to the Lord and move them in the right direction. So we should be trying to usher them up, not stir up conflict. And it's like the greedy,
it's kind of.
I was looking at that.
Yeah,
the greedy stirs up. What greedy of what? What are you trying to get?
Now let's look at it like this, right? So you have a lot of people who manufacture, they make weaponry and all that, guns, bombs, knives. They make military stuff. Now, how do they profit? What's one way that they profit? It has to be a war.
Absolutely.
So you have a lot of people.
There had to be a need for the gun.
Got to be a need for the gun. Ain't no need for it if there's no big bad act, if there's no war.
I see.
You know what I mean?
I see.
So a lot of this stuff you see is somebody is purposely stirring it up because of their greed, because they trying to make money.
Now you're talking about geopolitical war and things of that nature. That's
proxy wars and all that.
That's
kind of
exactly what happens.
Yes.
I have a book, man. I think we can advertise it, but I don't care about. It's called The Grand. No, it's not my book. It's a book I read.
Okay.
It's literally about what you're talking about.
That's a real thing.
It's called The Grand Chessboard. It's a very powerful book. It talks about, from a person that was, in that sphere, and how they create wars. Like, wars are created. They're not. It's not like, oh, hey, and then I never forget this moment. I was on the job, and I was talking to one. We were just having a conversation, and this guy, he was in Vietnam, and he was talking about what he had to do, how he dropping bombs and how many people they estimated that they killed, and and all the kind of what they would what stuff that they were just these war stories. And I'm just listening to it. I'm just looking, he's just salivating, telling it, it's really feel like this is a great thing. And I'm looking like, you're really talking about this like this really good thing. It's not good stuff, man. You're talking about killing women and children and all kind of stuff. But I asked him, I said, what was that war? What was the reason for that war? What were they what were y'all fighting for? And he was like, freedom. We was fighting for freedom. And I was like, freedom. I said,
okay.
I said,
for whose freedom?
No, this is what I asked him. I said, what's that? And he stopped. He literally stopped in his tracks. He never thought about what that is. Yeah. He never thought about what that. He dropping bombs on innocent people. Because they said do it, so you did it.
Yeah. What if they was lying?
They didn't even tell you what it was for. You know what I mean? Golly, at least tell me why I'm doing it. But anyways, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode too.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you say, it's to start that, that starting of that conflict, and they feed off it. And then I started it up. I'm about to give me some popcorn, and I'm about to enjoy this. I'm about to.
That's a good
good.
Because it ain't always be about money. It could be. You could be greedy to be entertained.
Yes, absolutely.
You stirring up conflict because you want to sit back and eat the entertainment. You want to eat the dysfunction and the discourse between two people, knowing that you started it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's
of
a terrible spirit, though, man. I don't understand that. I just don't get I don't get that part. I mean, that's something I don't understand. Like, you know that this is what happened. Like, you played a part in all of this, and you don't.
Right.
Like, you don't. I don't understand. Let me say it this way. I don't see what people get out of it. I don't see the. I mean, I don't see the, especially conflicts that lead to, people fighting and people getting hurt and just nonsense. I just don't get it. I mean, I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, I would say about 90% of cinema and TV shows is all drama.
That's
what I'm saying?
That's a really good point.
Drama sells more than, the kumbaya story where everything is, peachy, or for the most part, it's positive.
Drama is a part of the algorithm.
It's a part of it sells.
It's a part of the algorithm.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
The world's algorithm.
The world's algorithm leans towards drama and negativity. That's one of the reasons why I stopped watching the news, because 90%
I can't watch the news.
90% of it is negative. This guy died. This guy got killed.
That's it.
Person saying this about this person. It's all. It brings you down. It drags your spirit down when you watching it.
That's the number one reason. What was the inspiration behind us doing this is that it's so much negative. Because I stayed away from social media and all. I just didn't want nothing to do with none of it. I don't care anything. It had no bearings on me at all. I just Hey, what you got? Your I don't even know. I forgot my Instagram.
Right,
I got my password. I had to go find stuff. It just had no bearings on me. I don't really care because I know it's like virtual reality. It's not even real. You know what I mean? It's just kind of fictitious. Just made up stuff. So I'm allergic to fake things. You know what I mean? So, but I realized hey, you know what? I need to be in that space because light needs to be there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's so much darkness there, and then so, like you said, it's drama, and everything is just negative. And then all of our young people, they're on it. You know what I mean? When I remember when what is the cell phones where you can, what's it called? Androids and iPhone. When phones start really getting,
well, you could get online and they start really becoming advanced.
And, it wasn't just call and text. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to see seniors struggling. I don't want that phone. They run away from the phone.
Right.
Don't give me
one
of those.
Flip phone. This all I need.
What is this?
Right.
You know what I mean? They want
they reject
this before that. They wanted the real phone. They were refused to use it. They didn't want to. Give me that. That's the devil. They were just. Now I don't care. At the airport, wherever you go. I mean,
so all you see.
They're literally on Facebook. They making posts and stats, and they just doing everybody. 2-year-old all the way to everybody. You know what I mean? This is a mode, and we know that the enemy is the prince of the power of the air, but we have authority over that too.
That's true.
you know what I mean? But we got to be there, and that's the reason why. I just think it's necessary for. I think every believer should be on in every sphere possible that they can impact in a positive way.
I agree.
And I think 100. We should bombard the airwaves with just.
I agree 100%.
Just word and positivity.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Me and the wife, we talk about this a lot because I'm a person more so kind of introverted. Maybe not all the time, but I would prefer to just sit in the background and not be in the forefront. But God was talking to me. This was why I started my own YouTube channel. And me and Monique both, we don't like to put ourselves out there, but we're understanding that it has
Necessary.
to be an opposing force to all the
Absolutely.
negativity.
Absolutely.
The gender war, men against women, and all this other kind of stuff. If people like us don't begin to speak, life into marriage, life into relationships, life into our children, life into the world at large, putting the spotlight on Jesus. And if the message is largely negative and something that's leading people astray, especially the kids who don't have good examples in their own house, then what's the world gonna look like? If we don't shine, because we can shine in any arena. We can shine in person.
Anyone.
We can shine online. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. We got to be bold. We got to walk in any arena that we in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, and in that space, the enemy is only winning because we ain't showing up.
Yeah. It's the lack of light.
He's winning by forfeit.
Yeah.
He showed up and you didn't. Oh,
we didn't show up, so they won. But they wasn't that good.
They wasn't good at all. We would have blew them off the floor and we just showed up. And that's the mindset. That's why we gotta, and we gotta show up and, because, I gotta mention this. I just feel
okay. Let them lead.
So there are a contingency of us showing up, but it's a lot of what verse 25 say. Conflict. You know what?
Yeah,
instead of us amongst each
yeah.
other, not the enemy. The enemy is over there just
true.
like, look at this.
Yeah.
Instead of us, and that's why the power of unity is my God. He said, if 2 or 3 of you just come into an agreement on anything, we just get enough of you to agree on anything. He said, I'll be in the mix. I'll be right there. My presence be there.
I'm in the midst, yeah.
But instead of the agreement, we're stirring up conflict amongst each other.
We bickering
over
amongst each other.
Nonsense.
Yeah, things that's not even heaven or hell.
Nonsense.
You know what I'm saying? It's okay. What we're disagreeing on, will it prevent us from being saved or having a relationship with Christ? You know what I mean? Will it? If it's not getting in the way of that, then
man,
okay, I got my opinion, you got yours. Let's move forward with the main agenda. And that's
this is what Jesus said about it. This is what Jesus said about it. They came to Jesus and said, hey, they said, man, they over there casting demons in your name. We don't know them.
Yeah. He said, if they with us, if they not against us, they with us.
If they not against us. What are you over there complaining about? All the demons being cast. Oh, well, that's a good thing.
Right. You know
what are you over here? Because they ain't with us.
Right. They don't know you. They ain't
that tribal mentality.
Yeah.
That you know what I mean? Like
the exclusivity of it. You know what I mean?
That is some nonsense. I don't
participate
in it. I just can't. I can't even find myself to do it because it just is the opposite of what we should be showing the world. He said, they will know you, my disciples, by the love you have amongst each other.
Yeah.
He said, this is how they know that you are a part of me, because you got a unity, you got a love amongst each other that, it reflects me in it. Right. And so they'll know that you're a part of me. But we're letting the enemy turn us into enemies.
Yeah. Well, it says that the devil sowed tares amongst the wheat.
Always.
So one time I Googled that because I'm like, what is a tare? I know what wheat look like, but what's tare? And a tare looks very similar to wheat.
Yeah, it does.
It's not identical, but if you glance at it, it looks just like wheat. Yeah. So he has agents, moles in our community and their whole goal is to, like we said, cause conflict. They whisper, and then next thing you know, everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody arguing and they got all this discourse.
That's how most of these I'll just say powers that be. That's how they operate in other places and locally. You know what I mean?
What you mean? Like infiltrating the organization to take it down?
Yeah. Just to give you a simple example, because these things have come out, like the Martin Luther King's organization. They were infiltrated. The
Black Panthers was infiltrated.
Everybody, even the Bloods and the Crips.
Yeah.
They're creating, their conflicts were created because when you look at the inception of these organizations, they started as like these good organizations. Like the intention was great. So what happened? Next, they fighting each other or fighting, like, where did this come from?
Now,
But
if I'm
then
not mistaken, I could be wrong. You might know this better than me, but I think I read somewhere that the Crips and the Bloods was an offshoot of the Black Panther Party.
It was, yeah.
I don't know if that's true though. So, because certain people went over here and then other people went this way, and then somehow they turned into Crips and Bloods, but I'm not sure though.
A lot of those
true.
organizations started as community organizations that dealt with things like police brutality. Just the Panthers, my God, they did so much. They had so many programs and things that they created that the government started copying it.
Right.
That's what
Raising money.
Wickets watching what the Panthers was doing with the women and children in the community.
Yeah.
It's a lot of little things like that. But the inception is that this is how I create confusion. This is how I destroy something from within. I part it. I find a line of division and I relegate people to one side or the other. Then I just then I give them what they need to fight. So they need some guns. I throw them the guns. Y'all fight. Y'all kill each other. There you go.
Yeah.
I'll go and go out and shoot somebody and run away and let
and make them think somebody else did it. You know what I mean? It's
the enemy is real trickery. He's very deceptive.
Yes.
That's what we're battling. A deceptive enemy that don't have any power.
Right. But he understands our nature.
When it comes to
our
us.
nature.
Yeah, he understands that. And so he tries to he tries to find ways to keep us, because he understands, he know the power of unity, and he don't ever want to see people unite. That's a dangerous thing. Like that's a thing that would tear down his kingdom if people will come together on, it's a powerful
got rid of all
thing.
these denominations and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's
the people called by my name will humble themselves.
So I heard somebody say, "Get your hand out of my pocket." I heard somebody say, "Get your hand out of my pocket."
Yeah. And, bye Malcolm. See you later, Malcolm. Right. You're done.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, but that's a major thing, and I think that's why in all these verses we've read, it's continuing to reinforce the idea that we need to lean on not on our own understanding. Lean
Trust
on Christ,
in the Lord.
because if we all leaned on Christ, and if we was having a discourse and we said, you know what, let's pause, let's all pray about this.
Yes.
And God would have literally showed us, oh, they're going to tear right there. That's the problem right there. And then we could all address it we can address the problem and not attack one another.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's so difficult to get people on the same page.
Because
everybody want to be right.
So emotional too.
Yeah.
We always feel attacked.
Right.
And we always trying to find somebody to be an enemy. We love our enemy more than we love the Lord sometimes.
Right.
We're so fixated on him. We want the enemy so bad. Like, no, he's powerless. He's roaring about he's like a roaring, like he's not a lion. He's acting like one. He got on a lion suit.
Yeah.
Like he big and strong, and he ain't nothing. He's just it's all a facade. It's all deception. Yeah. And we man, get out of here. Look, like I see you. You know what I mean? I know what you are. You know what I mean? You just recognize he understands that he has no authority. But he rules by ignorance, because the scripture tells us this, and the Bible says this. He says, we perish not because of the enemy. My people don't perish because of the devil.
Yep.
My people
why they perish, D?
For a lack of knowledge.
There you go. A lack
of
knowledge. Ignorance. And here's the thing. Wisdom is free. It don't cost you nothing. Well, I'll take that back. It's going to cost you some time.
Yeah.
It's going to
have to sacrifice.
You're going to have to sacrifice some things you love, some things you like to do, to study and show yourself approved and gain some wisdom. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to reject your worldview.
And trust him.
Because your worldview may not line up with You know what I mean? Like you said, it don't feel right, but that don't mean it ain't right.
You said something earlier. You was talking about truth, the truth. And I think today, and this is like, it's not about truth anymore. It's about facts. And we make statements like this. I'm living my truth. You know, like
my truth, right?
You don't have
not
a truth.
The truth.
It's only one truth.
Yeah,
and the only way a truth can be declared is for the person or the individual who created something to tell you about that thing. That's the only thing that's true. If I read a book and 10 people read the book and they started trying to understand what I was saying in the book, and they were saying, well, he said this. It's a fact that he said this. Yeah, he did say that, but what he meant was this. And who can tell you what was meant?
The writer, the author.
The author. That's the only person that can give you the truth. Is the person who created it. And so we looking at everything else for truth, and it's only one place that you can find truth. He said, I am the way, the life, and the truth. Paul Pierce is not the truth. I'm the truth.
Right.
I'm the truth. You know what I mean?
He definitely ain't the truth. You know what I mean?
No, he ain't the truth.
No, he ain't.
I like Paul Pierce though.
He was my favorite. That was my favorite player.
He's
but
solid.
No, he's not the truth.
The Lord is the truth. That's it.
Amen.
And if you want to know the truth, you got to know the truth.
Yeah, the way in the life.
That's it. That's the only way you're gonna know the truth is if you know the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, facts are just little, statements about a matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not the truth. You know what I mean? Because facts don't make you free. The truth make you free.
Wow. Okay, you preaching now.
You can know facts about a lot of things, but if you don't have the truth, there's no deliverance in it. You know what I mean?
The truth shall set you free.
Okay,
so let's expound on that. So if I'm an alcoholic, right? I can go in an AA meeting and say, yeah, I'm an alcoholic, and that's the fact.
That's a fact. Yeah,
but
right.
The truth is, I don't want to be an alcoholic no more. Or, you know what I'm saying? In order for me to begin to heal, I got to go to the source of truth in order to take that journey. What I mean? It might be a better way to explain that, but
I know exactly what you're saying. Because they get you to say that though, and I understand why. I understand why, because you got, like you were saying earlier, you got to acknowledge what you're dealing with to be able to overcome it. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with this. I just think they should say it a little different, because once you start making declarations about something, you're declaring that you're gonna struggle with this all your life.
That's true. By saying,
I am
speaking it over
alcoholic.
yourself.
No, you're not an alcoholic. You're trying. You're a person who struggled with alcohol. You're not an alcoholic though.
Don't put the label on yourself. Yeah,
because now that's what you are. It's like saying, I am a dog. I'm gonna be walking around barking. You know what I mean? Like you can't. That's. I get why. I understand they want to make sure that people
acknowledging. Yeah,
you have to, because you have to be able to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. So that you can start that process of trying to work to be better.
So my name is such and such. I'm struggling with alcohol, but I'm not an alcoholic, and I won't be an alcoholic.
There you go.
Moving, you know what I'm saying?
Going forward.
I'm gonna address the problem. Then we addressing how we gonna solve it. Yeah, I'm struggling with this, but this is
I'm
not.
I'm gonna overcome this. I'm gonna overcome. You see what I'm saying? Like
I'm struggling, but I'm gonna overcome.
Empowering talk.
Yeah.
And then go back to the words.
Yes. Self. Even people who don't believe in God. People who understand the power of positive self-talk achieve great things, even if they're not believers. So imagine adding the source to that.
The truth to it.
You know what I'm saying?
Truth to the matter.
The truth, the way in the life. You already understand how powerful it is to speak life into yourself and to people around you. But some people are, attributing it to the universe and all this other kind of stuff.
Well, who made the universe?
Missing the main.
Who made the universe? Where the universe come from? Yeah, no. See, you didn't start this up again, man.
That's another. I saw a meme where it says Christian worldview, and it had a hammer and a nail, and it had a construction worker above the hammer. Then it said the atheist worldview, and it had the nail and the hammer, but nobody holding it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the hammer holding itself.
This is nailed itself just nailing wood, just wood, just hammering.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. You know, the Bible, what the Bible said, fool says in his heart that there is no God.
You wanna stump up an atheist, because they know all about their Big Bang, and they can tell you all the
They know all
different
the
theories
terminology
and
and
multiple universes, and they parallel this and all. They got all these different ideas about how everything, because they got to make up something about how they see it started, because they won't give credit to a creator. Because if you do that, then the whole argument breaks down.
Yeah.
But this is what stumps them up every time. Okay, so you got to go beyond the physical, plane, and you stump them up with this. So the universe started with a big bang, and all these things are happening, and all these things are based on what? Why did this happen? Why did this move this way? Why all this expand? Why did the energy do this? What did the thermodynamics and all these laws? Where did the laws come from? The laws had to exist before the creation of the universe. They had to be there first. Where did they come from?
The framework of the universe had to come.
And why you can't just make a law and throw it out there if it's just nothing? Just go make a law right now. Just put it in the air and just make everything in the universe adhere to it.
Right.
You mean everything in the universe adhere to these laws? Which means it had to be before the universe. So how do you explain the laws? They can't. That's something that stump them up, because now
God
you got
everything. Oh, well, who created God? That's their go-to statement.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, God doesn't have it. God was all has forever been.
Yeah.
He's the first and the last, the end and the beginning, and they can't even.
Yeah.
It don't even compute to them. But that's a whole nother
episode
too.
Whole other episode again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The greedy stir up conflict.
Okay.
The greedy.
Okay.
They stir up conflict. They love it. He says, but those who trust in the Lord will prosper.
Yeah.
He said, listen, the greedy, they stir up conflict. He said, but those who trust in the Lord, they will prosper.
So I think we touched on the greedy part. And did we touch on those who trust in the Lord will prosper?
No, we really didn't hit it. We touched on it, but we didn't really get to it.
Okay.
And then the application of it. Like, how do we apply this? How do we take this? How do we, like, if some 14-year-old young man is listening to this and he's saying, yeah, all this stuff sounds good. I hear, and I'm interested in all that kind of stuff, but how do I put this in my life? How do I add this where I can use it for something that makes me to prosper? It makes me to have the Lord make my path straight and things of that nature. So how do we take this proverb and make it something that they can utilize in their everyday life experience?
What I would say, like you said earlier, God is a personal God. We have to realize first, personalize him, and don't make him some far off, hard to reach entity that's not available for conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's talk to him as though, just like me and you talking right now, and invite him into your life. Pray. This doesn't necessarily even require you to get in your word first.
It doesn't.
You can just say, hey, God, I need you. Reveal yourself to me. I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to prosper in my life. I want to be righteous, and watch God move and show up for you. Because I've done it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Before I got deep in the weeds, in the Bible and, reading as much and learning, we got to be young. So, any young men listening to this, you got to be open to it.
Absolutely.
You done tried everything else. Let's try this. So, what you think about that, Dick?
I would say, I'm just thinking about myself. I think that the thing that like what you were saying as far as him being personal, thing that interested me in the Lord and what drew me towards him is that I knew I had my biological father wasn't around, me growing up when I was a child, and at some point as I started to get older, like going into my teens, I started to realize that there was an effect, that was something missing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think I needed it, but then I started realizing I needed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, man, I just heard this thing about how he's the like God is a father. Like that was like and I was just like, man, so like, and you could be my father. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the first time I ever heard the Lord speak to me personally. It was that, and that's what it was like. I'm your father. You know what I mean? And that was the draw. So I think that at that age when you're still trying to find yourself, you know, you find something about him that his ability meets your need. I needed a father, and he was able to be a father.
Yeah,
you know, like Moses asked and said, who do you want me to tell that just saying all this stuff? You know, what you want me to say? What name? You know, what do you want me to say? And he said, I am. He says, tell him I am. I am that I am. Whatever you need, I am that. You know, if you're missing this part of your life, I'm that. I could be that for you. If you need someone to talk to on a daily basis because you feel alone, I'll be that. If you need a father, I am a father. I am the greatest father. Yeah. If you need, you know what I mean? And I think that's where, if I was 14 right now and whatever the age, and I'm listening and I wanted to know what I needed to do. And apart from the book, you know what I mean? That's where I, you know, guide a person to and just say, hey, you know parts of you, and you know things that you're missing, and he can fill that void like nobody else can. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, I think it's so kind of nuanced because my dad's always been in my life. You know, in fact, my dad was a minister when I was little, and I grew up in church
PK,
since I was a little kid.
Little P.
Yeah, and I don't remember any of my dad's sermons, but I just remember him jumping around on the stage, holding the mic. He had so much energy in life, but I was so young, I don't remember any of the details. So it's like I've always had that to look at. And then when I talk to young men and guys my age who are like you, who their fathers wasn't around, I always wonder, like, man, like, you know, you didn't have nobody to look at. And a lot of them say, nah, man, my family drug dealers, drunks, or my mother was doing this and doing that. It was no positive influences around me. You know, God always makes a way to put somebody in front of you.
Yep.
You know, because that's his nature. He wouldn't be just if he didn't give us all the opportunity to know him. You know what I mean? So that's why I always tell him, like, you know, it got to be somebody, even if it's somebody you don't know. It could be a mentor from afar. Mm-hmm. And you looking at them and saying, man, that guy is living a peaceful life. You know, he's living the type of life I want to live when I grow up. Mm-hmm. And you look at them and examine them and figure out, you know, how they got so much peace and so much, you know, they're content. Don't ever think it's somebody you can look at for the young man and be an example to you.
And sometimes that's a prayer that you can pray, you know, Lord, I need an example before me. I need you to bring somebody. Well, yeah, he will do that. You know, and me growing up, you know, I had uncles, you know, I have, you know, people, step uncle. I have always had, you know, being around that could impart things to me, you know, and the blessing in my story is that me and my dad, my biological father right now, have a great relationship.
Yeah.
And it's funny,
cool dude, too.
Yeah, like, you know,
you know,
like,
and it's almost like,
and he's doing the same thing. I'm like, well, I'm doing the same thing. However you want to look at it, you know, he's working with young people. He's in the ministry. He's doing a lot of good work and things of that nature. He had a process, and I always say to him, and we always say we actually was just saying this on our cruise. We was just talking, and he was saying, man, I think the Lord was protecting you from me at that time because I wasn't in the right spot. You know what I mean? Yeah. In my head, I would have messed you up. Basically, what he was saying.
He'd have done more damage being around.
And I saw that.
Yeah.
See, I saw that instead of me. You know, a lot of times what people do, and they go through situations like that, their mom or their dad or somebody that they trusted to be there that wasn't there, that kind of thing. They go on this resentment, anger tour. You know what I mean? They spend a part of their life, you know, you wasn't there for me. You wasn't, you know. you know, that kind of thing, holding these grudges and all these kind of things. Sometimes, you know, maturity, as your mature walk, you don't focus necessarily on what it looks like. You focus on, Lord, what were you doing? Because I know you're guiding me. So I'm like, how are you how did you get, you know, like, what? That's what you were doing. Yeah. When I thought you were keeping something from me, you were, to protect me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember saying this to the Lord one day. I remember my friends, we had like a father's event for the team where they invited the fathers to come to the game and all that kind of stuff. And it was a couple of us that we didn't have no fathers to come to the game for it. So, and I remember seeing all the dads and they hugging and they taking pictures and I'm looking at this, I'm saying, you know, and I remember looking up saying, look, God, you didn't give me a father. You know what I mean? I'm feeling that way. Yeah. Like he did something that, you know, but then as I got older and mature and I started to be able to make a divine assessments, not just carnal assessments about things, I said, oh, you are protecting me. Yeah. Man, thank you. And you were preparing him for now this part of fatherhood in my life. Yeah. And so now he can impart into me now. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like he can speak wisdom. He can give me, you know, like counsel and you know, he can say things that I receive.
It actually seemed like y'all ain't missed no time.
That's what it seemed like.
Each other is like, it seemed like there was no gap. You know what I'm saying? It's like God is restoring that for you.
Because he supplemented the gap.
Amen. Yes.
He fathered me when the one present.
He said the greatest father.
And he's still my he's still, you know what I mean? Like that, you can't replace that. But and that's what I'm saying to any young person. He can supplement. Nobody can supplement God in your life. But he can supplement anybody, any role. Yes. He can supplement it.
Yep.
He can be whatever you need in that moment. He is I am. You know what I mean? He's the I am. I can be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you feel that inner void and you know, like you hearing this and you saying, man, you know, I want what they talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that you just look to the Lord, man, and you really just talk with him.
Yeah.
You don't have to be what you see on TV. A lot of the stuff, some of it is nonsense. And to be honest with
you. Yeah. Some of it is.
Yeah, but just talk in your own language, because he listening to your heart. You know, he knows what you're saying. And he understands your language. He understands the street language. He understands the you know, English, Spanish, and whatever you speak. You know, he understands what you're saying.
He knows what you need before you even ask for it.
Absolutely.
He already knows what you need. But like we talked about before, God's not going to force it on you. So he just wants you to invite him into your space, and let him show up for you. And the rest will take care of itself. You know what I mean? So that's
he'll navigate you through these crooked paths.
Yeah. Most definitely.
He'll navigate you. Those who trust in themselves are fools. He's the greedy stir up conflict, but those who trust in the Lord will prosper. But those who trust in themselves are fools. You trust in yourself more than you trust in God. You a fool, scripture says. There's only 2 times that the scriptures call you a fool. If you say in your heart there is no God, you're really a fool. If you really, I don't care how smart you got to be a fool. You look at all this, you see all this, and you say, oh man.
You think there's no intelligent design behind this? Come on, man, you crazy.
Like come on, like this. Something wrong, something really wrong. You gotta, you know, whatever. You know, we don't go down that path. But those who trust in themselves are also fools.
Yes.
Because we, you know, the greatest wisdom that we could, you know, surmise from our interactions with God's wisdom is that we don't really know anything. Our little finiteness is so small compared to his all-knowingness, if that's a word. You know what I mean? Like he knows everything. There's no detail that he doesn't know. And compared to what our little bitty computer, we like a little calculator and the AI.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can't even type anything in our you know, we're because we're creatures of experience And a lot of times we can read something or study something, but if we don't experience it, it don't really hold that. It don't really gives us the depth that we need, that experience.
Yeah.
And we haven't been here long enough to have. We talking about an eternal being versus a couple years on the planet.
A little, yeah.
And so us to trust in us versus trust in the one who created us and knows what's ahead of us, behind us, what's in us, what's around us, what's over. I mean, he knows everything.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I trust in it? It's like walking through a forest trying to get to a place of refuge with a blindfold on in the middle of the dark.
Right.
And you trying to get, and somebody is over there saying, hey, I got the directions. I know how, I can see everything. I got the light. I can see. I don't have blindfolds. I see everything. I see the whole forest. I know how to get you to the other side. But we want to depend on, well, I don't feel it over here. I don't know. I hear the water over there. Like you trust us. We gonna fall. We gonna, if the blind leading the blind, we both fall in the ditch.
Yeah. Even if we talking about science and real smart guys, Albert Einstein and Newton, a lot of it.
Both of them believe that they're in the creator.
Yeah.
The smartest guys.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a lot of, they put a lot of, on the end of a lot of things that they discovered, quote unquote, they say it's a theory, or a hypothesis. But it's not concrete. You know what I mean? It's not like, okay, this can be proved. Even evolution has yet to be proven because they're talking about animals that evolved over a certain amount of time. But we haven't seen anything evolve since we've been alive on this planet.
I wish I had time.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, that's
what I mean. We could break that down, but I'm just saying, like, they'll tell you, okay, this is how it happened, but we never see evidence of it.
They have facts.
It's just a theory.
They have facts though. They don't have the truth. They have some. They have. Well, this species is. It just be like okay. So, but like you say, where is the species in between that species that tell you how that species became that species?
You see what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
They said giraffe. I heard the other day that giraffes evolved to have long necks so they can reach the food in the tall trees. So if they couldn't reach the food between,
why their arm ain't long?
How did they survive between the time that they couldn't reach the food?
Right.
So they wasn't eating and they just lived for thousands of years and now they got long necks and they eat, like, that don't even make sense. Because how was you eating if you couldn't reach the food?
Yeah,
like come on, like, you know what I'm saying?
And then so and this happens over millions of years. They finally got to it. They finally got to the tree. They
ain't eat for millions of years. Huh? Millions of years they didn't eat nothing. They
finally got to it though.
The year 1 million, that's when they got the food, and then now they got, like, come on, man.
I bet the first giraffe, when he couldn't get to the tree, he went to go find something on the ground.
So he ate something on the ground, then he went back.
Get that up there. Get it up there. I can't reach it. All right, go over there then.
You see what I'm saying? So it don't even hold up to just regular logic. You know what I'm saying? So and these people supposed to be some of the smartest people.
Natural selection. It was naturally selected.
It's not adding up. If you look at gravity,
we have all the we've have all the. You don't have anything, man. You don't have anything of solid. You don't have transfers. You don't have these things. You don't have anything. Making you're creating a story that without you're just making a story. You know what I mean? Like you just okay. Oh, I see that over there. Oh, it's like going into a murder scene. And you just come out with a suspect, you just you look, oh, it's over there. Oh, it had to be the daddy because the daddy. Well, I had to be because he, like you just making up stuff, man. You're not really using real, science.
But like you said, we
science mean to know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. We rather believe in theories than believe that in order for things to exist, somebody had to make it. This house didn't make itself. Somebody had to build it.
That's just basic though. That's logical. Like it's so basic. You're asking me to do something, to go against what is sound. Like
it's observable reality.
What can you come out? What can come out of this other than what? Let me go. Let's move past this. Yeah, let's move. We'll have to dedicate one episode to just dealing with things that make the
Science versus,
scientific religion.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they making little comments. You know, people that comment on our little videos,
Yeah, I be seeing,
they
I be reading, I be laughing.
They
I be
upset.
laughing. You don't know what you're talking about.
They upset.
The theory of relativity
Yeah.
says this, and you be like,
Yeah,
oh.
like you didn't even read your own notebooks, man. But that's,
Yeah,
that's
man,
a whole
it's-
other discussion. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna mess with these people.
Yeah, it's
Let them
crazy.
have their,
Those who trust in themselves are fools, but those who walk in wisdom are kept safe.
Mm.
So
Woo.
how could, I could walk in wisdom keep you safe?
walking in wisdom definitely provides a shelter, because when you just react to things based upon how you feel or just some superficial knowledge, it usually leads you to a bad place. I mean, like when you think back over our life, that reality at some point in time, always when we trace back, like when we found ourselves in unsafe situations where we wasn't victims, you know what I mean, that's a whole different situation where somebody just take you and
Right.
but when things that we've led ourselves to, and we look back, we say, man, I shouldn't have did that. Usually is because we wasn't using the wisdom that God gave us, wisdom from him, and we were reacting to how we felt, or we were moved by something other than God's wisdom and understanding. It could be, other people's wisdom.
Right.
Not OPP, but OPW. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, you
Other
down
people,
OPW.
Yeah.
Other people's wisdom, not God's wisdom. Because, be honest with you, some of the elders, they gave us a lot of good game, and then some of them,
They gave us some bad games.
they
too.
gave us some bad
Yeah.
wisdom, and then we went on, acted on that OPW,
Yeah.
and we found ourselves in unsafe places, and sometimes, unfortunately, death, prison, all kind of things, because we tried to follow a pattern that God didn't make. And that's always a dangerous thing when the scripture says this, Paul says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You following the patterns of the world is going to lead you to destruction at some point in time. Always.
Yes.
That's the end. It may look on the road look good though. It look like, oh man, it's a nice trip. Oh man, look at that. I like this way. And then you fall off the cliff. In the end, because that's the goal, is to look good on around, and then at some point in time you are in an unsafe place, because instead of following the wisdom of the Lord, we're following the wisdom of the man. And that's always going to be a conflict of those two realities.
Yeah. I love that breakdown. Don't follow man. Follow the Most High. Follow his laws and commandments. And also, intelligence, people that are smart, they have a lot of information. People that are wise know how to apply it.
Yeah, that's good.
They know how to apply the information that they have for success. Sometimes I tell the kids, my kids just start driving. So I'll be talking to I be talking to her. Sometimes she's driving in the car, and I'm like, yeah, you see that person hit that pothole in front of you, right? So because you saw what happened to them, the wisdom will tell you, okay, I need to go around it, because maybe they didn't see it, but I saw it, so I'm gonna go this way. And that's a lot of us, even growing up and seeing the street guys and the quote unquote cool people, we witnessed their life story. We saw how it ended.
Right.
It didn't end good. It made it look fun, in the beginning and flashy and all this type of stuff. But if they stay in it long enough, they always end up in one or two situations.
Always.
So it's only one or two ways you go out.
Always.
You know what I mean? Or you look at people who doing drugs, and you see people who was the man in high school, or they was playing ball, and now they at the gas station begging for change. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times all we need to do is just pay attention and observe the end result of a lifestyle that you once thought or was cool, or you think is cool, and you say, yeah, I don't think I want to go that way. You know what I mean? I need to figure something out.
And that's the spirit talking to you too. That's the spirit telling you, like, this is not my wisdom.
Yeah.
Man, you was talking about the the glorified, life, drug dealing, and all that kind of stuff, and the money and the fast money. It's only one time in my life I wanted to be a drug dealer.
We all been there.
I was like a 7. But this is just before I had,
Yeah.
my I don't say names, but people I know, family, associate, friends. I would say that much. Family, associate, friends was one guy. He was big time. Like he was like, when I say big time, he was big time. You know what I mean? He had a house. Well, I don't say house, a mansion. He had a full court basketball court in his basement.
Oh, man,
he was really
like,
he was
probably in the 80s. In the 80s, yeah.
This was 90s. This was 90s.
Okay.
He was, he was, and I was like, man, like he got this. He got every new car, he just had, always got. He had to back in the day when you had to like carry the cell phone like in the back,
in the briefcase.
Round boy.
Yeah.
He had he was like. Big camcorders, like he was just like he can hoop good. I was like, man, I want to be like this guy. Like this guy is, man. And then I saw him on the news. I started wanting to be like him. They pulled up, man. They arrested him, and
that's wisdom.
And
that's wisdom. Because some people say, man, he went out with a bang. I want to go out like some people. Some people watch Scarface and still said, I want to go out like that.
Be like,
that's the way you go out. If you gonna go out, you go out like that, and you will sit there and be like,
that's crazy. That's crazy. I was hoping he didn't get shot up like that. That's what I was hoping.
I mean, I was hoping. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Make it out. I knew that guy was gonna get him. That one guy he was after. He was too quiet and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody
told him, don't screw
all over the
don't
place.
Mess with
he
me.
just
He said, "Don't mess with me, Tony." You know what I mean? But like you said, that's the lack of wisdom. And we just throwing caution to the wind when, applying wisdom is looking at people and how their lives turned out, the bad decisions they made, and learn from, or the best way to learn is to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah. And learn from your own too.
Yeah, of course.
That's the roadmap. A lot of times it's just like, they did this. No, I'm not doing that. They got burnt doing that. I'm not doing that. They didn't. I don't think I need to do that because, you know what I mean? But also, a lot of times we'll repeat mistakes ourselves. We'll make a mistake and then we'll do the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to have take the situation and see the Lord's wisdom in that situation. And then, like you say, apply it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like apply it to your next experience. It should be a graduation, from something that we've learned before, that we experienced before.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Proverbs 25:19. Proverbs 25:19.
Let me get it. Huh? Oh, okay. Like a broken tooth or a lame foot is reliance on the unfaithful. Reliance, sorry. Like a broken tooth or lame foot is reliance on the unfaithful in a time of trouble.
The first scripture you read about leaning, something to lean on. And this is why you don't lean on other people and things and worldly things and all that kind of stuff, because it's going to let you down.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get, it's all right when you're not in a time of trouble. You know what I mean? No, everything, I ain't, it's all right now. You know what? Yeah, but when you get in a time of trouble, you need solid things.
Yeah.
You need solid principles. You need something stable. You need some good footing, something reliable.
Yes.
You start leaning on a broken tooth. You trying to eat with a broken tooth. That steak is not. That's gonna be the worst steak ever.
Yeah. Going to pull it out.
I don't care how they cook it either. It's gonna be a bad steak because
it's gonna be
because you can't chew it. You know what I mean? It's not something stable. Or a lame foot. You trying to run, trying to get away on a lame foot. That's not. It's not gonna work. You need something sturdy. Yeah. You need something that can bear your weight.
Yeah.
That can take you. That can take on you. You know what I mean?
And it says in the time of trouble. On top of that. Like you're relying on something that's unreliable in the worst possible time to do it.
Because you relied on it when it wasn't trouble. And you think it's going to get you through the time of trouble. And that's what happens. We're all right. Just living and it's going and then until something hits us, that trouble time come. Now, if you don't have a sturdy foundation, this thing may take you out. Because you don't. What are you leaning on?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like what are you trusting in?
Yeah.
And if what you're trusting in doesn't have any stability than when it's like the Three Bears story. Is it the Three Bears?
Or is the Three Little Pigs?
Three Little Pigs.
Yeah.
I get bear. I don't know. I got bears.
No, I'm about to say the porridge and the
Yeah, the Three Little Pigs.
Yeah.
They all had different type of foundation that they relied on and they were confident in. But there's only one that was still standing in the end.
Yeah.
And it was based upon what he trusted in.
Yeah.
Something sure.
Yep.
Huff and puff, all you want. The enemy can huff and puff, but you can't blow this house down. This is strong foundation. Hitler, they gonna blow all he wants to. He gonna even run out of breath trying to blow this down.
Yeah.
I can't get it. Yeah.
I can't get this one.
I can't get this one.
Yeah, and what's more reliable than the one that created the universe and created everything?
Nothing.
That's long suffering. That's abounding in love and righteousness. What's more reliable than that? That's somebody who would send his own son to die on your behalf, even though we don't deserve it. We are sinners. What's more reliable than that? You know what I mean? A lot of us are relying on vices. When we stressed out, some people turn to alcohol. I know some people in my family have died of cirrhosis of the liver because they leaning on alcohol, an unsturdy foundation that took them out of here before their time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, we, like you said, don't lean on no hay, no house made of hay. What was the other one made of? Sand, the dirt?
Sand, wood, something. I can't remember the story, but I know that last one.
Yeah. It was.
I don't even remember. Ain't that something? I don't even remember what the with the ones that didn't work.
Yeah, I know one was made of hay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't remember what the other
story
one.
up. Yeah. You have to look that. But the moral of the story is, what are you trusting in? When it's sunny, the guy with the hay house, he was all right.
Yeah.
But the wolf went around and everything good. Look at my hay house. Oh, okay. I got a nice little hay house here. You know what I mean?
No time in trouble.
Ain't nothing, and the wind blowing and But then, now the enemy is right at your door. Let me see what your house can take.
What's your house built on? What's the foundation of it?
What's the foundation of it? I like what Job said. He went through, literally, he went through a double hockey sticks. That's what they say.
Yeah.
On earth, and his reply to all of it was, though he slay me, yet would I trust him.
Yes.
I'm still gonna try. I'm still standing. I still, all the stuff that I've been through, I experienced in my life, I'm still here. I was able to retake it because I know what I was trusting in.
The Lord,
you know what I mean?
And he taketh away.
It's a terrible thing to be in a hurricane and you don't have any shelter.
Yes.
It's a terrible thing to be in a place where you don't have nothing that can secure you in the middle of the storm. And it's a great thing. You know what? When the storm, sometimes I like the storms. It's just,
right.
Because when you in a secure foundation, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to storm. We're going to hear it and we're going to look at it. Oh, look at my the daughter. She'll be looking at the thunder. Look at the light. Like,
right.
We secure. You see what I'm saying? And that when you have that secure, when you are in a position where you can laugh at the storm.
Yeah.
Then be necessarily affected by it in that negative way where it take you out.
Yeah. And then also I think, God is going to put us all through the test of, do you trust me? I remember when we had our fire situation and it was rough. Me being in that house and us having to stay in a hotel for a little while, find out that our insurance lapsed in payment and all that type of stuff. But God literally gave us a house. We went from an apartment into a house.
You in it right now.
After you know what I'm saying?
I see the little light on up top. The little light say, that was me. The Lord said that was me. My light right here.
You see what I'm saying? And also, God does things in a way to where you can't even take credit for it, even if you tried to. There's no way I can say, I planned this out. I crossed all my T's. I saved up my money. I did this and I did all that. This is all. This is me. No, it's all him.
And that's a part of that last scripture. Those who trust in themselves are fools, but those who walk in wisdom are kept safe.
Yeah.
The greedy stir up conflict, but those who trust in the Lord, they're going to prosper.
Yeah.
And those are founded. And then the last scripture, Proverbs 29 and 25, is what it says. I got to read this one because I read this and I was like, oh, fear of man will prove to be a snare. Fear of man, it will prove. In other words, at some point in time, you're going to realize that trusting in men is a snare. It's a trap. It's the bait to get you to this point. He says, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. The fear of man will prove to be a snare. Fear of man, I think in this context, refers to a compromising or unhealthy concern for what others think or say that control our actions and decisions. You know what I mean? We are controlled by what we believe man would do, or approval of man. You know, everything we do is not based. Most of the decisions that people make are not decisions that they're making out of their own head. They're making things based upon what they think other people will approve of. It has nothing to do with them. The clothes they wear, you know, the things they do. I mean, like, all these things is based on what somebody, you know, the thing that I used to always have. I will always pull one of my students aside when I hear them say this, and I'm like, "Come on, man, why you do that, man? Why you just do that?" And they would say things like, "Well, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else, what they got to do with you?" Because everybody else doing it, that means you got to do it. Did you know what was wrong what you did? Yeah, but everybody else doing it. In other words, I don't want to be out of sync with everybody else, because this is something that everybody else doing. This is what's popping. This is what, this was the thing to do now. Yeah,
and what so they say lit now. These kids
this was
say
lit, man. It's lit now.
Lit,
man. Nobody doing that no more. That's that old stuff. We nobody doing that no more.
It's 2025.
25 with the we doing this. We? What you mean we? You know, like, what are you doing is the question. You know what I mean? And you make your own decisions, but are you making decisions? Yes. You're deciding things without deciding them. You letting other people decide for you, but based upon what you think they want. And that's the fear of man. And he says, at some point in time, it will prove to be a snare. You're going to get trapped up. Yep. You're going to get in a situation that you can't get out of.
And it's even worse when it ain't even your idea. You just, you know what I mean? You fell in the trap blindly following somebody else who didn't know what they was doing or where they was going. And then at the end, they going to say, I didn't tell you to, I ain't put a gun in your head and make you do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like.
And you don't even like it, though. It's not even something that you like personally. The only motivation is about what everybody else
trying to fit in.
The only motivation, it has nothing to do with you. You know, you the way, and it ain't young people, it's adults.
Oh yeah,
you know
adults,
what I mean?
Man, the pressure of fitting in and not standing out never really goes away. I'm at a point now where you know what I mean. But some people never grow out of that. Mm-hmm. You know, they want to fit in the crowd. But what the Bible says, be in the world, but not of the world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We supposed to know the tactics of the enemy. You know, be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves.
Doves, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that also goes to what we were saying about, growing up in certain environments when you watching people live certain lifestyles and you follow behind them and you end up in a snare. Mm-hmm. Because you have a fear of being different or not having the latest clothes, or you fear people talking about you, about your shoes. So you do whatever it takes to get money so you won't be teased, mm-hmm. Going to school.
We all been through it. Yeah. We've lived these experiences, and sometimes we still battle against them. Yeah. It's not it's not like a, and sometimes you have to catch yourself because you be like, hold on, what am I doing? I'm not getting in the snare. Yeah. I'm not getting ensnared in this situation. I got to make sure that I want to be kept safe. And I'm kept safe not by my dependence and my trust in what man's opinion is, but it's my trust in the Lord. That's what keeps me safe. That's what keeps me on stable ground. You know, I don't get swept away by the new this or the new that or the new, you know, this was what they doing. And, you know, some of the stuff I don't even, you know, me personally, I just don't even, and I think I said this before on one or the other. I mean, I just can't understand how people, I literally was talking to my uncle. He's in prison. And he's, you know, he's made some changes. He's walking with the Lord now. And we were just talking, and he was just talking about some of the things that go on in prison. He was like, man, they're in here. Literally, he said they're in there smoking like the stuff they put in the mice traps to kill, you know, to kill the mice. He said they're smoking this. And
smoking they call rat poison. They smoking rat poison. Wow.
I said, what? You know, we started talking. I was saying, man, it's different. Because at some point in time, and in the past, you know, growing up, and I'm glad I'm an 80s baby because I was able to see the, you know, part of the crack epidemic. Right. You know, I was able to see, you know, different, you know, no technology to Atari to AI. You know what I mean?
Right.
The whole spectrum of things. You know, old Polaroid to the real Polaroid to the new, you know what I mean? Like, and I noticed during the crack epidemic, so to speak, it was a badge of dishonor. People that smoke crack, that was like the worst thing you can call them was a crackhead.
It wasn't.
Man, that's like
it wasn't trendy to
like
be a drug addict. Yeah.
What you know like that? That's the only thing they got them upset is when if you call them. Yeah. A crackhead, or
you'd rather be the dealer than the addict. You know what I'm saying? If you had to pick one, you know.
Or if you was the child, that's the like her worst to be like being the child of your mom. Oh my God, your auntie or somebody. Matter of fact, they had a song out, and it was teasing a child because their parent was on crack. He said, "Your mama's on crack rock," and she's like, "No, she ain't. The mama's on crack."
I don't think I remember that one. But that's crazy.
Man, you gotta Google it. Like it was literally.
I'm gonna look it up.
They had. You gonna laugh? You gonna laugh? It was literal songs. It was songs about the dishonor of drug addiction and things of that nature, whether it was right or wrong. I'm just saying that this is what the mindset that people looked at it as. That's a negative thing. Like, nah, you know what I mean? Like, don't smoke. You know what I mean? Like, don't. Oh, you on crack? Oh, man, what's wrong with it? Even in the movies, like you remember the movie Lean on Me? They Lean on Me.
You smoke crack, don't you?
You smoke crack, Sam's? He was denying it. He might jump on the. It was always it was always like something that was negative, so to speak. You know, cool. Like nobody wanted to be associated with crack. You know what I mean? Even Whitney Houston at the time, she was like, I don't smoke that cheap stuff.
Cheap.
Like, right. You know, like these are like this was the mindset. And what I was telling him, because he's been locked up for a while, I said, listen, that mindset is gone. There is no like being on drugs is a good thing. The mindset today is that not just things that are one molecule away from being crack. Man, I just had some of that last night. Oh man, we were killing it. Oh man, I was just like, you bragging about this? Nobody ever walked around and was like, man, I just smoked crack and it was so good. Like that wasn't it's so different that they made it cool. The rappers are rapping about. No rapper has ever rapped about in that epidemic. Man, I'm on smoke this crack and drink. Now they like, let's pop the molly, let's do this, drink the lean, let's do this. You know what I mean?
Enemy, that's how the enemy work. Yeah, that's how the enemy work. And so, you use peer pressure with some people, the desire to be cool. And then that's also a form of fear because you have a fear of just being yourself. And not being in the in crowd and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? But, I want to touch on, even during COVID, during the height of COVID, what was the consequences they used for you not getting the COVID shot?
They had a lot of consequences.
You gonna take your job. It was a lot of, but it's all rooted in fear.
Yeah, it was a lot of consequences.
You don't get this jab, we gonna fire you. You gonna kill your grandma. You gonna do all this, and think about it. It's the same tactic they gonna use for the mark of the beast. Can't
Mhm.
buy nothing. You can't sell nothing if you don't get this mark. You can't buy no food for your kids. Can't do this.
Mhm.
It's all
Yeah.
rooted in fear.
Fear of man.
The fear of men, to be exact. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So, and the Bible says God has not given us a spirit of fear.
But
So it would
power.
actually tell you whenever you feeling afraid, it don't come from God. Even when angels pop up and they look a little weird, what they say, be not afraid.
Be not afraid. Yeah.
Do not
That's
fear.
right.
You know what I mean? So whenever we feeling fear, we know it don't come from God.
It's not at all, and especially when it's indirectly manipulative. It's not even direct.
Right.
It's
Right.
not like somebody saying, you need to do this. You better wear those clothes. Nobody telling you what to do.
Yeah.
You're perceiving a fear. You're perceiving something that's not even there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so now, because of that mindset that's going on, now you got young people, man, they going on now. Man, look at, man, I'm messed up. I'm like, man, you live your life. You make your own decisions. Nobody, judgment, for me. But some of it is something that we have to really examine why we do certain things, and there's no productivity. I always ask people this, especially adults. Talking to someone not too long ago about this, and I said to them this. I said, listen, yeah, I understand that. I understand what you don't do this, but if your child did that right now, how would you take that? They would, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what to say.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
see what I'm saying? So you need to model before them, the best you possibly can, what you want them to be like when they get older. You got to model it. That's a part of training up a child.
Right.
How do you train
The way
a
that they
child?
should go. Yeah.
How do
gotta
you
give 'em-
show them the way they should go? By going the way they should go.
Yeah. Because they,
Or at least
what parents used to say, some of the parents used to say, don't do what I do what I'm
Don't
telling you.
do what I'm telling you to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But your
yeah.
actions are
How about
more
I haven't catching you
impactful.
smoking this cigarette?
Man, come on, man. Your actions is more impactful than your words in this particular, situation. Now, some kids will say, "Nah, I ain't doing that because I don't like the
They
smell
saw
and
the
all
effects
that."
of it. Yeah,
They saw the effects. But some kids was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this because daddy was cool or daddy." You know what I'm saying?
That's what
And
he did
that's-
when he got stressed.
Yeah. And that's not a
picked up
risk
a
we should
bottle.
be willing to take. Yeah.
This what he did this what she did every weekend. When they got her checked, he went straight to the club and did this and did that and made videos about how messed up she was.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you talked about that
I
earlier
understand.
about addressing because your parent is probably most likely suffering from what they saw, but they
absolutely.
didn't address it with them.
And now it's generational.
And now it's
you're
generational.
creating a trend in your DNA.
Yeah.
That's negative.
Yes.
You creating a tradition that doesn't uplift. Tradition's supposed to make the next generation better.
Yeah.
Something to build on. It's not supposed to take it down.
Yeah.
And that is a culturistic thing because we compartmentalize the Lord. We put him on a day, on a week, time, moment, or when we need him.
We need them in a time of
Genie
trouble.
in the bottle, we rub him. I need you now.
Yeah. When
You
you're
know,
in trouble.
When,
Or some people they do it at church, but the moment they leave, it's like they put it down. It don't even apply no more.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say this right. I'm gonna say to make this bold statement. If the king does not affect your everyday culture, then you're not in his kingdom.
Facts.
That doesn't mean that you're gonna be, the perfect culture, but there should be some movement towards a reflection of his kingdom.
Exactly.
If my culture is only that in my surrounding neighborhood or my home, and but I've been in the faith for years, you know what I mean? But I think like the world, I act like the world, I function like the world, I live like the world. I mean, I'm like the Adams family.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing changing for the better. There's no area where things are moving towards a reflection of God's, there's nothing moving towards that.
Jesus talks about the kind of people, where the seed falls on the ground, but it doesn't, the ground isn't fertile, so it never takes root. You know what I mean? Some people, it may take root, but then the enemy come and snatch it out of the air before you can even get, you know what I'm saying? And, I think that's a lack of faith and a lack of belief. You have a form of godliness, but you deny the power.
It has to be changed. Like, we're never going to be perfect. There's nobody perfect. Now, you all make mistakes, but there has to be a movement of faith to faith. There has to be a move, even if sometimes we fall back, but you get back up and you try to, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be some momentum moving in God's direction, because if there is none, what is this walk? If there's no victory, there's no prospering, there's no evidence, there's no proving, there's nothing that shows, there's no fruit. That's the fruit isn't there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It may not be fully ripe, at least there's some fruit there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what has to happen, and that comes most of the time because we don't want to separate ourselves from the world.
Yeah.
We're more attached to it than to God.
There you go.
And we rather have it, you know what I mean, than the trust in the Lord. We rather trust in men because we just
I don't know, man. I think the
flesh,
flesh,
we've been trained.
Yeah. Sometimes I can't even pinpoint it. I'm always amazed when I read the Old Testament and imagine having God visibly there and watching him do such great things like parting the sea, protecting y'all from the angel of death. Like you saw all this stuff and you still denied the power. You still told God, we want a king like the other nations instead of letting him rule over you. It just amazes me how that could even be possible. And I'm not saying I couldn't, and maybe people just, anything that we get too familiar with, we begin to that's God. He over there. He been doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? But I can't envision how I could ever be in that situation and get comfortable and believe that and doubt God and what He's capable of doing. You know what I mean? It just amazes me how we are as people, man. How we behave.
We're trained this way, though. Yeah, we trained this way. And that's why we got to break generational curses, man. And we got to be really adamant about it. You got to look for things like, I don't want this to go on. I don't know. I don't want this. I'm breaking this. Nope. This has been, you got to be intentional about it too. Like you got to, the Holy Spirit, hey, because he wants to help you.
Yeah.
He's to help him. He wants to help you get through this thing and transform so he can do his work and get the glory that he wants to get. But we got to be willing vessels for that, though, and we want it. And sometimes we can't see it because we're so trapped in the world. You know what I mean? It's hard to see the things on the ground level. It's easier to see when you're above ground what's really transpiring. You could see. You got the aerial view. You can see from the above space. You know what I mean? I have a mindset of above, not below.
Right.
You're looking and you're able to make certain decisions, not based on real-time decisions too, based on what you are able to see that people on the ground can't see. But you have to have that perspective.
Yeah. And
you can't get that perspective without trusting in the Lord.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't get it. There's no way to get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can go stand on top of it, you still won't see anything. But the Lord will reveal it to you. But you gotta seek it out and want to pursue it. That's a hard thing, man.
Yeah.
Because we're in a lost world, and it's in a way, on one side of your mind you're thinking you're almost like a defeated situation, on one side of your mind, but then on the other side you see God's plan, and how he you already know how it's going to come through. You already know the end, and you like, he gonna work this thing out. He gonna flip this thing.
But that's the beauty of it. When we read in our Bibles and you get to the end, it's a happy ending.
It's like it started over.
It's a happy end. Now we may not know, okay, what's gonna happen, at the end of the book, what's gonna happen after that. But the important part is that we come out on top.
That's it.
You know what I mean? We already know how this is going. And why are we worried about what's happening in the middle when we already know the end?
I know the end. I know the end.
We get stuck in the middle. Oh, this is messed up. We can't see beyond the current circumstances. But we already know, you know what I'm saying, that we got the victory already.
You saw the end of the movie, and then you watching it in the middle. You getting traumatized about it.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you just watched the end. You saw how the guy he gonna get rescued, and they gonna come out, and they gonna walk around.
Right.
They gonna throw their arms up, and they gonna, you know, why you,
We,
you know,
we
you
all
see
getting
the
tight
end
in the
of
chest.
it. Yeah,
what's gonna happen?
I know how this thing gonna end, man. I know how this gonna end. And that security, you know what I mean? That security that's a powerful thing. Now you don't know the details because you're still in the moment. You know, you're getting through. You know, you're moving through the cracks, but you know that, and when the end come, that you're gonna, you know, be standing in a good spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like you said, that's the beauty of the story, is that we win in the end. And this war we're fighting right now, you know, is all for show.
Yeah.
It just had to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna say this war gotta happen. Because you know I'm gonna win this war, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You already know I won.
He already knows.
Your enemy knows that what's about to happen. That's why he tries to disrupt it. He tries to prolong it. He tries to, you know what I mean? And he goes after our young people. He really, because he does what the pharmaceutical companies do. You know, and this is why if you ain't the 80s babies, the 80s baby they got a blessing on them.
We do, cause we seen it all.
We
seen everything. We like,
didn't seen it. You know, if you ain't
seen it
by
all.
the 80s, man, this is because listen, I remember growing up, nobody took pills but elders. That's the only people that ever, when I was growing up, nobody ever took the pill but an elder. That was it. That was a, you know, older, that's an older people thing. That's not, now everybody is on pharmaceuticals. Pharmacia. Which is a biblical term that Paul
words means something. Yeah, even alcohol or something. I think is the you know what I mean, a flesh-eating spirit.
Yeah, that's why they call it spirits.
Yes, I used to wonder, like, wine, beer, why they call it spirits. You know what I mean? But at the time, you don't dig deep enough to really really understand. You know what I mean? But
Rite Aid, not RIGHTA, not the Rite Aid. RITE, which stands for ritual aid. And what is in there? Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. If you just take your time and look at it, it's telling you.
You know what I mean? Like, these things are.
Yeah.
These things are like right in front of us. You know what I mean? But if you're just on the ground level, you're gonna miss the revelation. You're gonna miss, you know, seeing these things. And then this is what the enemy does. You know what the pharmaceuticals do? This is why they're one of the number one lobbyists in Congress, because they understand that I don't want a customer just in their 60s. I don't want a retired customer.
Yeah.
I want a life customer.
Yep. So we keep them sick, but we don't give them the cure. We give them the Band-Aid.
I'm going to start them off when they're young, and they're going to stay on it, and they're going to stay on it. And I'm going to keep coming up with drugs and things of that nature. That
vaccines.
You know, I'm not going to ever tell them how to get healed.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna depress the symptoms. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure they don't got symptoms are going. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give them a drug that when they take the drug, they're gonna need the other drug that I got.
See what I'm saying?
So now they on, you know, another drug, and then another drug that get the symptoms of this drug that you need. This gonna raise your blood pressure, and then you get this one, and then this one gonna do this, and it's gonna put the water in your leg, and this, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I got a coworker. He had acid reflux, so he wanted to get rid of his acid reflux. He went to a doctor. Doctor recommended a pill. He started taking it over time. He ended up going to get just a routine checkup. They said he had a spot on his kidney. Doctor said could be nothing, but it could be something. But we can't really tell. Only option is we can leave it, or we can just remove it altogether in case it's cancerous. So he says he goes home. He thinks about it. Talked to his wife. He went back. He goes. He said. Just take it out. You know what I mean? I just want to be on the safe side. I got another kidney. I'll be okay. They remove the kidney. After they remove it, he just so happened to be reading the back of the bottle that they gave him for his acid reflux.
And it causes
And
kidney.
one of the side effects is it can damage the kidney. So you went in for acid reflux, and now you only got one kidney.
A half a kidney.
You see what I'm saying?
That's something that's crazy.
Now, if you knew that, you'd have just dealt with
But
the
they
acid
tell you
reflux.
this stuff though. They tell
You
you
know what I
this.
mean?
They say, you watch them commercials?
Yeah,
They
they
be like,
they speed past it real fast and talk
Zibai.
real.
Zimon. If you have acid reflux,
Then the people be running, they be all happy.
yeah,
They be
take
laughing in it.
Zimon, and then they wait to the very last seconds, and they tell you Zimon might cause a heart attack, a stroke, a depression, and a recession.
Right.
You might lose your whole. They might go suicidal thoughts. And, man, give me the acid
They
reflux.
zip past it real fast. All the side effects.
Give me the acid reflux. I don't want all that other stuff.
Exactly.
All these things that they showing in studies that this like.
Man, it's crazy.
It was something I was like, I think it was something real simple, and they was like, yeah, many studies have shown that they create suicidal thoughts and did this. I was like, I'm gonna get suicidal thoughts. I'd rather just have a cold.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. How can a pill create thoughts? You know what I mean? You would think it's all physical. Now it's affecting your mind.
Balance.
You know what I mean? So they putting spirits on these pills.
It's pharmacia.
There you go. There you go.
It's what it is, man. We can't. It's mind altering. That's what it is. That's the whole ideal about it. That's what it's about. It's to alter your thinking. That's the whole point of it. You know what I mean? It's not just your physical body, but to alter your mind and your thoughts.
Yeah.
And we wonder why we're taking more drugs, but people are more sick.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
People are more sick than they ever were, but we're taking more drugs than we ever have.
Yeah.
These things are like, there's a common denominators in the regular math. You know, people used to go and eat things and go out and eat herbs and take things and, fast and do certain things
That's where you, like we just talked, the second part of that verse is whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe.
It's
Now,
kept safe.
The Bible talks about God gave us every seed-bearing herb, fruit for our healing. Now,
With the seed in it.
With the seed in it. Now they got seedless stuff.
There you go. See how you recognize man versus God.
See what I'm saying?
Anything that's a fruit that doesn't have a seed in it is not from God.
It's not from God.
has
It's
no-
man-made.
It's man-made. It's trusted in man.
Yeah.
And we run from it in our household.
Yeah.
Don't
It's hard
tell
to
me
find,
I don't
dog.
want no seedless. They're hard to find.
Yeah.
Ain't that
You can't even
something?
find it.
Ain't that something?
When I
They're
go
hard to
Nino's,
find.
Man, we go to Nino's
more-
bar house. You can't even hardly find no grapes that got a seed in it.
As an 80s baby, late 1990s, you went in a grocery store, the produce section is always close to the front door. They do
Right.
this stuff for market, for strat, whatever. But most of the section was fruits with seeds in it.
Yeah, if not all
We
of
didn't even know what genetically modified was at that time.
Yep. All
You know
the
what I mean?
watermelon had the black seeds in it. Nah,
Right.
know.
Right.
Yeah.
The black
Yeah.
seeds and the dark seeds are the ones that. But then now you go in a grocery store, everything is genetically modified. And then they have this little section over there called organic.
Organic, yep.
And it's about this big.
And they make it more expensive.
Cucumbers, tomato, everything in this little bitty section.
And they make it more expensive too.
And it costs more.
Why would it cost
more?
more for something that you don't have to tamper with? But it
Because-
costs less for something you got to modify and do all this stuff?
That's a great question. You know why? Because fake things are easily to reproduce. Easier.
They
For
grow
me
in
to
the lab
genetically-
and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
I can modify something that it reproduces quick. But the issue is you're going against God. And because you're going against God, now that fruit or that vegetable or what have you, it's not going to have the level of nutrients that something that, if in its natural state, the way that God made it to function, is not going to have that. And also, it can have side effects because of the process that is taken to produce it, because of the pesticides and these things that are designed to go against nature.
Yeah.
That literally to alter nature. That's the point of the pesticide. And these have been linked to all kind of things.
That's
They
the
found
gluten free. Oh no, Roundup. They put Roundup or something in
Roundup,
the bread.
and they
Yeah,
found this stuff. They found some of these pesticides. They found that they noticed animals, frogs, things of that nature, fish, that sex just change when they have interacted with these things.
Wow.
There's scientific research that proved this.
I heard a little bit about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's literal research that shows that. But
yeah. And we know who's behind that.
Man,
you know what I mean? Because it's too
powers that be.
Yeah. It's too specific in what it's doing for it to be coincidence.
So you gotta be spiritual to grocery shopping.
Man, that's you said it right there.
You can't walk in a grocery store without the spirit.
Yeah. You used to be in a grocery store.
I can't take that.
You didn't need no discernment to go in a grocery store and buy
You just
food.
go, yeah, I would take that and eat that. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You didn't even have to think. You just grab the stuff and live. Now, you know, we go in a grocery store. We reading labels. You
gotta read labels. You gotta know what the 4 and the 5 and the 6 and the 7 and the 8 and the 9 represents on the back of the fruit label. You know, you should carry a chart with you. You know, you gotta know what they mean. Like they have those numbers mean something.
Yeah.
Like they don't just put it on there for decoration. Oh, this a 4. No. These numbers actually mean something in their process of to be produced. And we got to be, you know, you got to be able to discern and be wise. If you don't have an aerial view, you're just going to be on the ground level eating things that, you know, how do we
that's
get
a whole
this?
nother, like, you know what I'm saying? That could be a whole nother episode.
But it's trusted in man.
Yeah.
Because that's what man is giving you. Poison.
They think they know better. They think they know better than God.
And I think we can end on this right here. God created man. God gave man dominion over everything over the earth. The fish, the fowl, the creeps,
the creepy crawlies,
the fruit, everything.
Everything. He
said, you have dominion. You have rada. You have sovereign authority here. Except one thing, you cannot rule.
You can't rule
there
over
you go.
Each other. Yeah.
And this is why I always say every government on the planet that is not the kingdom of God is illegal. Because man was not created to rule man. Yeah. And that's why they all gonna fall. Yeah. Every one of them fail.
Bunch of Babylon.
All the great empires, they all fail. That's the oh my God, the dynasties of Egypt was so. What happened to them?
Yeah. What happened
the
to
Greek Empire? Oh my God, the Greeks were Rome ruled the world, and what happened with them?
Yeah. Genghis Khan. Khan was the man back in the day, wasn't he?
Yeah, they all
Genghis Khan was taking over everything. Where he at now?
I fell, and they all gonna fall. And Russia, whoever you want to call, U.S., Russia, China, whoever, they all gonna fall. There's only one gonna be standing: the kingdom of God. That's it.
Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord.
That's He's Lord.
Okay. All right. So we gonna end on the word of the day, or the word of the episode.
we got to get the word of the day. Because it fits in what we're talking about.
All right. Biddability, the word of the day. Ready to accept and follow instructions meekly. The word of the day, biddability. That's a different word right there.
And we put meekly there as a synonym. A synonym. So that you can have, context about that word. But that's a powerful word. You're ready to accept. You're looking for instructions to follow them.
You're looking to submit. To be led.
To trust.
Yeah.
To
and
depend.
That also, man, that also explains why Jesus refers to us as sheep.
And not goats.
Because sheep have to be led.
They have
of
to
all
be
the
led.
Animals that he compares us to is sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the shepherd.
And he's the shepherd, the good shepherd too.
Yeah. We like to think we wolves and lions and all that, you know what I mean?
We want to be
ferocious. We want to be something self-sufficient and all that. No,
we've been programmed to think that way though, Yeah. This is the mind of the barbaric man that I just, I destroy, I rule.
Right. The alpha, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Our ideal of dominion is a destructive dominion. That's not what dominion means, man. That's not, you're the lead servant. See, that's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
Jesus said, listen, if you want to be great in the kingdom, he said, did you know what you got to do? The greatest is not the one that wants the Lord over one another. That's not the great. That's not greatness in the king. Yeah. You got to be the one that wants to serve the most.
Yes.
He said,
humble yourself.
I'm the greatest because I served everybody.
Yep.
He said, if you want to be me, I'm my death and you take on what I did. You know what I mean? If you want my spot, you know what I mean? And that's the mindset that we have to shift from the world, because the world trains us to think that the guy pounding his chest, oh, I'm taking over, is the strong guy. And not. That's actually not that. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Serving is hard, yeah. Serving yourself is easy. Serving others is
serving somebody else. You know what I mean? And being able to surrender yourself and your emotions, your desires, what you want, you know, and being able to,
what you believe you know and understand, you know what I mean? Trying not to, don't overestimate your intelligence. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? You thinking you can outsmart God and all this other kind of stuff. No, can't do it.
Can't do it. Got to be ready to accept and follow his instructions. You got to be meek.
Yes.
And that's what he said.
Here at the earth.
What they should do?
Yeah.
They gonna run this place. If you want, you want to run this place, it's not the dude doing like this.
Yeah.
The barbaric guy, the guy that the evolutions talk about.
Right.
You know they got the little model, the monkey, then they wind up being
yeah.
that's that guy.
Yeah, right.
That's not who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
We the ones that's gonna rule this place are the meek. Yeah. The meek. The humble.
Yeah.
People that can take instructions from the Lord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And follow them.
Yeah. Yes. Can put with his kingdom over their desires.
Seeking first.
Yeah. And all the other things be added unto you. You would get everything you want anyway. If you put him first, you get it on the back end.
You're going to get the planet in the end, remember? See, this is if I know the end, all I got to do is follow the back. I know the end. Yeah. Okay. So I just need to be meek at the end, do what he tell me to do and follow this, because in the end, it's all me and my brothers and sisters. We gonna run this place again, like Adam's supposed to do, to have in the beginning.
Yeah. You're right. You're right about that.
Yeah. So we got this. But that was that was a subject that also it came in my head that you was about to. It was because we got to touch on this at some point in time. You know, the husband wife, because there's a lot of debates going on.
Yeah,
there's a lot of debates going on. We got to touch on that. We're going to do an episode on that because it's some nonsense debates too.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's all it's all carnal.
It's so,
you know what I mean. It's all devoid of God's wisdom and His design. And then also people are twisting scripture too. They take stories and then they put God in it as though He ordained it to be so. No, God never told Solomon to have all these wives and David and all that stuff. They did that on their own. They took you know what I mean? So
right. And look at what happened with Solomon. Solomon, all his wisdom he had. The guy we talking about right now, all the scriptures that we reading from, he had all these wisdoms, all this wisdom that he possessed, the wisest man on the planet. And he fell victim to a lifestyle that God didn't approve of. Yeah. So much so that he wanted to remove the kingdom from him, but he wouldn't do it because he honored his father David. Yeah. Ain't that something? This guy has so much wisdom, and in the end of his life, he went from Proverbs and talking about wisdom to Ecclesiastes. Everything is meaningless.
Yeah.
It's all meaningless.
Yeah.
It's almost like a drunk man. It's all meaningless. I done messed up.
It'll flip on you real quick. Never
quick.
Get too arrogant. Never think you know everything. Stay humble. Yeah. And that's also why the meek will inherit the earth, because when you stay humble, you never get outside of reality. You continue to say, no, this ain't by my will. It's by God's will. I'm not so great. I may appear to have wisdom. Wisdom comes from Jesus. So it ain't about me. Being me
download.
keeps you grounded.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think we covered everything, man.
Yeah,
I think we
got it. I think we got it, D. This was cool, man. I like this setup.
I like this too, man. I
Yeah.
like this too. And the video is not. Let me end the video, then we can talk. All right. Oh well, all right. Living Proverb. Well, I'll come back on. We'll do an ending to it.